Hello everyone, welcome back to Simplicity Reimagined. So in this video I'm going to be studying AP European History and AP Psychology. Now these are the only two AP classes I'm taking this year, but it definitely is a heavy workload since I have to memorize a ton of stuff and study for the majority of my homework sessions. In most of these video clips, I'll be working in this module book that directly correlates with the textbook, so it's also a note-taking device and a studying method. And if I'm lucky to have enough time, I will then turn all of these questions and the contents that it covers into a Quizlet. However, since this task is extremely time-consuming, I usually look off my lecture notes that are provided through Google Slides. During the lectures, I copy every word verbatim. Now this may be a shocker because most people actually advise you to do it in your own words. However, I find that if I copy the exact definition down, they're going to use the same vocabulary and same sentence structure as on a test or a quiz, so I might as well learn and be familiar with that. Also, another studying technique I use is using the crash course videos provided on YouTube. Their channel is amazing because it makes it simple and clear and actually fun through different animations. So in these clips, I've just been prepping my notes for the psychology class. Now, I did cover some things, but not everything in the crash course video. Videos include usually more details than you actually need to know for the course, but it's nice to know just in case there's a trick question. Another random tip when you're short on time is that you do not need to make your notes aesthetically pleasing. If you simply have a black pen and a highlighter for the specific class, preferably color coordinated, you'll be fine. With the highlighter, all you have to do is highlight the words for the big titles, and then you have to underline with highlight for the subtitles. It's simple and effective for those people who don't really want to be creative with their notes, but still have an organized format. Aside from all of that, I'm just going to explain, the breakdown of what I have to do for each course. So in my AP Psychology, our first unit was the history of psychology, which is pretty easy. All you have to do is just memorize a couple techniques, a couple vocab, and just mainly what everyone did. The hardest part for me personally was just being able to associate which tests went with which psychologist. So, for example, which tests did humanistic psychologists like? The next unit is going to be biology psych. Now this basically revolves around identifying different parts and functions of the brain. Personally, the most difficult thing about this section is being able to identify which parts of the brain associate with a certain injury. For example, on a test, you might be provided with a scenario and you basically have to explain what part of the brain caused this person to have a loss of hearing, a loss of heartbeat, and so forth. In conclusion, this is how I study for my quizzes and tests for AP Psychology. I basically look over all my notes, I make Quizlets, I verbally test myself by having my dad ask questions, and then I basically puke out all the information that I know about that certain topic. I highly recommend the verbal studying over all of the other techniques because if you're able to teach someone a concept that you're learning and they're able to understand it, that means that you have a full understanding of that concept. I'm just going to wrap it up by saying that you should take the class because it's really enjoyable and it's actually pretty interesting to know how your mind works and why it works that way. Okay, now I'm just going to do a quick explanation of AP European history. Now, this is very long, complex, and there's just a ton of information that is related to this subject. Most of the information I receive are from packets and handouts my teacher gives, slides that she presents, and also video clips that we watch in class. The main things that are touched on in the class are essential questions and identifications. The purpose for these identifications, they're basically vocabulary words, but we also incorporate those with the essential questions because we apply our knowledge of those identifications to the essential questions. For example, an essential question could be, why did Martin Luther get angry at the peasants after they revolted against the church with violence? Now, if we didn't have identifications, then we wouldn't know about the peasant revolt, and we wouldn't know who was Luther and why he was so mad. My tips for studying are as follows. First, you should make sure that you turn the identifications into a Quizlet because you just want to get those down before you can apply them to the essential questions. Next, you want to actually read the textbook. That's the most important thing you should never forget to do. Read the textbook. Always read the textbook. Trust me, the repetition is a major understatement to the importance of reading. Next, to get the most out of your reading, you need to take good, thorough notes. Now, I don't mean to say rewrite the whole entire textbook, but make sure you have at least 1 to 2 bullet points per paragraph. Now, some of those paragraphs can be pretty hefty, especially in an AP European history textbook. So I recommend maybe 5 at the most for a section, like a little subtitle. After all that reading and note taking, you're probably wondering what we should do with the handouts. And to be honest, I really don't do a lot of things with those handouts. If I do something, I take a red pen and I just annotate things that we discuss in class. And that should about wrap it up. So thank you for watching this video and for supporting my channel, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.